5 years ago, I got to hear about Jesus. It was thanks to a guy who I would see walking by my house on a regular basis, wearing a weird looking uniform. I remember I started to find out more about this group and what they did. A few weeks later, I became friends with the guy. He invited me to join the Pathfinders and to go to a camporee where ultimately I was baptized. One day, I remember going on a hike with the Pathfinders. That time, one of my friends told me that there was an opportunity for me to go to ECAS and that I needed to talk to the ECAS chaplain who had attended to this event. So I talked to him and he told me that ECAS would be the right place for me to find happiness and love. I honestly did not have the money to pay to go to school. If I went to school during those years, it's because my good neighbors paid for me and helped me to get an education. When I started my sophomore year at the school, I faced so many challenges. Most of them had to be with the Sabbath. My classes were changed to Sabbath. I never went on that day, so the principal called me to her office and told me that I would not be able to pass if I continued skipping class on Sabbath. At the end of that same day, the priest of the school pulled me aside and told me that the real reason of why they did not want me at the school was because I became a Christian as well as a Sabbath keeper. The next day, I got expelled for refusing to go to school on Sabbath. After this, I had to start working because my mom, again, did not make enough money to send me to school. All she would make in a day was $3, so my only two options were work or go to school on Sundays or overnight. Going to school on Sunday was a big danger, as gangsters would very often come and recruit the youth. If a person doesn't accept to join a gang, there's a high likelihood that something bad will happen to that person. Like for example, that person could get killed, or the relative could be kidnapped and eventually killed. I say this because I am a witness that this is true. My cousin was killed a few years ago when he rejected an invitation to join the gang in his hometown. In our household, we were a very dysfunctional family. My mom would work many hours and my older brother would not be home as well. So I can say that I grew up alone without having someone who could give me love at this stage of my life. What made it even worse is that in school I was doing terrible. My grades were so low and my friends would bully me all the time. I remember coming to the point that I felt my life was worthless. One day, I looked out to the patio in my house. There was a tree there. My life was so miserable that I climbed that tree with only one thing in mind: put an end to my life. As I was getting ready to put the rope around my neck, someone told me, "Don't do it." Now, I am so happy to be here. There are times that I may not show my happiness and gratitude, but God really changed my life. All the bad thoughts went away, as well as my negative mentality. Despite the challenges and battles I fight every day, I know God is with me and will never let me down. I see my problems with a totally different perspective. I realize I am not worthless, but valuable to God's eyes. There's a big purpose for me that God has prepared for the future, and I am so eager to know what it is. It's funny, because in the beginning I thought that ECAS wasn't a good school. I had made up in my mind that ECAS was not different than the other schools out there, that there was nothing special in this school. After going to school here for the first couple weeks, I noticed that you learn how to make your spirituality grow to a high level. Thanks to ECAS and to its staff members, now I think of Christians in a whole new way. In the past, I thought that religion was just a way to bring people under someone's power, but now I see that I am under the power of God. My dream is to continue in school. I would like to be a pastor, but if God has a different plan, I am glad to go the path He wants me to go, like being a missionary. All I want to do is serve my Lord so I can bring more people at His feet.